For this video, I'm going to show you how to create an elevator for your library. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're on the ground floor plan where the elevator is going to start. And you're going to use the wall tool on the architecture tab. And you want to pick a basic wall, an interior 6 1/8 inch partition. You shouldn't be drawing with an exterior wall or a curtain wall for this elevator shaft. And I'm going to be putting my elevator in this bottom right corner. So I'm going to draw a 9-foot wall, and then a 10-foot wall across the front, and a 9-foot wall. So that 10-foot wall is going to be where that elevator door opens up. I'm going to use my control key and I'm going to select all 3 walls. And in my properties palette, I want to make sure that base constraint is ground floor. And the top constraint, I want this elevator to go up to the 2nd floor. So I want those walls to go up to the upper roof framing. So I changed the top constraint to upper roof framing. So now if we go into 3D view, and I've hid this front wall, you can see that elevator shaft goes all the way up to that upper roof framing. Okay, back on ground floor, I am going to put an elevator in here. And the elevator needs to attach to a wall. So I am going to use the component tool, and I'm going to load family, and I'm going to go to the P drive, and in the P drive for each class I have created a folder called Revit Library, and in there, and I'll use CEA3 as an example, you can see the folder Revit Library, and in there are a bunch of things you may want to use for the library. One of them is the elevator, and it says elevator updated 4116, and it looks like this. You can find other elevators on Revit City. This is just one that you could use. And I'm going to click open. And then you have to click on the wall that you want to attach it to where you want the door, because it cuts through that wall and creates that door opening. And now you can see the elevator there. I'm going to adjust this wall a little bit, bring it a little closer, so it's a little more symmetrical. I could fix it even a little bit more if I want. That looks pretty good. And now if I go look in 3D view, you can see I have an elevator there on the 1st floor. I also need to add a door for the 2nd floor, so you can get on the elevator at the 2nd floor. And I also need to cut a hole in the floor between the 1st and 2nd floor so that elevator can move up between the 2 floors. So let's add a door to that 2nd floor. So we'll go to the 2nd floor plan, and we need a door right here so we can get into that elevator. This time I'm going to use the door button, and I'm going to load the family, and in that P drive folder, that Revit Library folder, I also have an elevator door in there, or you can go to Revit City and find one. So you can see Revit Library, side opening elevator lift door with call button. You can see a picture of it. I'm going to use that one, and I'm going to put it roughly where in the center of that wall where that elevator door would end up, where you would want to get on, where that elevator would end up. And you could work on the dimensioning and make it exactly centered between the 2 walls. Okay, finally I need to cut an opening. So you can see I have elevator and then the door, and then I need to cut an opening between the 2 floors, because if we rotate this around and look at it, you can see there's no opening in the floor for that elevator to move up and down. So I'm going to go to the ground floor plan again, and I can see my elevator, and I'm going to use opening, a shaft opening. It's on the architecture tab, and you can see it cuts a hole through multiple layers, so it creates a shaft if you're doing a stairwell or an elevator. And now I want my drawing tools. So up on the top I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw to the inside of those walls for the elevator, for that opening. And then I need to look in my properties palette. The base constraint needs to be ground floor, and the top constraint, it needs to go to upper roof framing. So make sure it says that, and it'll cut all the way through. Click apply, and then click your green check mark. And then if you go look in 3D view, you will have an opening in that floor. So now I can see all the way down to that elevator down on that first floor. That's how you create an elevator and a shaft for that elevator in Revit.